This is our first video about fractions in context, and we're going to look at the quotient model. So we're going to look at 5 different models of fractions in context that correspond to the last video of the different types of words we use to represent fractions. So our directions are to represent the following as fractions, just like we did in the last problems, but I also want you to listen carefully and really think about how these are representing fractions in different ways. So when you get to specific math problems, maybe you'll be adding or subtracting out of context, the numbers all look the same. 12 over 3 could be representing cookies and bags or miles per hour or any different sorts of things. But you're just seeing it in the abstract just with the numbers, so sometimes this could be confusing if you don't know all the different ways that we use fractions. So let's look at this first one. Remember that quotient is the answer when we divide. So if we had 20 divided by 5 equals 4, we would call 4 the quotient. So these first examples are really just, another way to think of it, the quotient model is division. So they may not seem very different from problems you've done before, okay? But this is just one of the ways that we can represent fractions is through a division model. So let's read the problem. Always have a highlighter ready. We're going to highlight our givens in yellow and our goal in green. So Tara had 12 cookies and made bags of cookies with 3 cookies per bag. Now our question is, how many bags of cookies did she make? Okay, so this may seem like you're not in the fraction section at all. So let's draw a picture of this. So 12 cookies, so each one of these circles represents a cookie. And now she's going to make bags of cookies with 3 cookies per bag. So there's one group of 3, 2 groups of 3, 3 groups of 3, and 4 groups of 3. Okay. So we could see the number of bags of cookies she made is 4 bags. Okay. So we just solved this problem basically as a division problem. We didn't use fractions, but we're going to represent this as a fraction in a minute. Just remember what this problem is asking us to do is it's saying how many copies of size 3 are in 12. Okay. So this is our generic way of writing this type of division problem. So here we want how many copies, that would be how many bags of size 3, of 3 cookies per bag, are in 12. So we're taking the dividend, the first number, 12, and we're grouping it into groups or copies of size 3 and finding how many there are. So this is one type of division problem. So to write it as a fraction, okay, we would be writing 12 divided by 3. Okay, so I'm going to put this in a box. Okay, so the question itself asked how many bags of cookies, but our main goal is up here to represent the following as fractions. Okay, so we know 12 divided by 3, or 12 over 3, or 12 thirds is equal to 4. For now, you may have learned in the past about simplifying fractions. We're going to learn about that in the next lesson. For now, we're just going to leave them in this form, 12 divided by 3. Let's look at the next one. Get the highlighter ready. 3 cookies are shared among 6 friends. So that's the given information. And our goal is how many cookies does each friend get? And we want to represent this as a fraction. So you may think, oh, this is division just like the last one. And it is division, but it's going to be a little bit different than what we had here. So let's draw a picture. We have 3 cookies. Okay. And we want to share them among 6 friends. So notice we don't have enough cookies for every friend to get a cookie. Okay, so we're going to have to cut the cookies into pieces. Okay, now it may be tempting to just divide 6 by 3 so we get an integer whole number answer, but now we're in the fraction section, and lots of times we're not always going to be dividing a bigger number by a smaller number. We can be, fractions can absolutely be a larger number divided by a smaller, but it can also be the other direction. So you really have to think of the context. So imagine you have these 3 cookies, there's 6 people total standing there. How would you share these equally? Well, you might imagine we want these 3 cookies to be in 6 equal pieces. And if I cut each cookie into 2 pieces, or divide them into halves, I would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 equal pieces. And each piece is 1/2 of a cookie. So let's think of this in relation to the how many copies of size 3 are in 12. So this is not asking us how many copies of size 3 are in 6, okay, or 6 are in 3. We're thinking we have 3 cookies divided into 6 equal copies. Okay. So here, the 3 is like the 12. Okay. We know the number of copies, but we don't know the size. So here we know that there was 3 in each group. Here we're looking for the size in each group. Okay. So the size of the copies we can see if we look at any one of these pieces, it's 1 out of 2 pieces of 1 whole cookie. Okay, so this person 1 gets this half of a cookie. Okay, so our fraction form writing it in terms of the original numbers is we're taking 3 and dividing it into 6 equal copies. And our resulting copy size will be 1/2. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 equal copies of size 1/2 in 3. So notice how these are a little bit different. They're both division problems, but they look at it from a different perspective, from a different missing value. Okay. In the next video, we're going to talk about the part-whole model of representing fractions.